Welcome back to our Rush Hour Roundtable, and it's back to school week here at NewsNation. We're following the teacher shortage across our nation. It's truly a crisis in some school districts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, between 2020 and 2022, about 600,000 teachers and staff left the field. The pandemic making a bad problem even worse.
This profession has one of the highest rates of burnout because it is a hard vocation to take upon. And we do not do enough as a society to really step up and acknowledge our educators.
And listen to this. The University of Pennsylvania poll finds the #1 reason teachers leave: dissatisfaction. More than a third left to pursue other jobs, often finding better pay in less stressful fields. A group of 4 New Mexico middle school teachers, they decided to quit their jobs last year. They opened a cannabis dispensary. They say they wanted to spend more time with their families, take on a new challenge. Meantime, an Ohio man recently going viral for leaving his teaching job after 6 years to work as a Walmart manager, and says he is making $20,000 more when factoring in bonuses, and he's not using his degree. Now, the average starting salary for a teacher is $43,000. The overall average salary for teachers, $61,000. So, panel, our question: how do we keep teachers motivated to stay in this profession? Dr. Christina, I'd like to start with you.
Well, part of it is we need to compensate teachers in a much more sustainable way. I mean, there's so many teachers who are doing heavy lifting, helping children who have mental health challenges, helping children who are underserved at home, whether it be food insecurities or housing insecurity. They're both a teacher and a social worker and a parent in many cases. And so I think a lot of teachers are frustrated because it seems as though we can find money when we need to under the couch cushions for wars and everything else. But when it comes to compensating the people who spend 8 hours a day or more with America's children, there just never seems to be enough money. And so especially during an era of COVID where, we can tell a lot by a nation by how we treat our young people and how we treat our incarcerated citizens and how we treat our educators. And obviously the fact that many teachers have 2 and sometimes 3 extra jobs just to make ends meet so they can also supply their students with things, basic necessities in the classroom, lets us know where our priorities are, and they're woefully out of whack.
Casey, what do you think?
I think that what we need to...
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Since 1950, I'm sorry, I thought she called on me. Since 1950, we've had a 100% increase in students. We've had an over 240% increase in teachers, but we've had an over 700% increase in administration. There's a lot of money that's going into the educational system. It's clear that we fund education better than almost every other nation on earth, if not better than every other nation on earth. But only about 52 to 53% of it's actually getting into the classroom for supplies and for teacher pay and benefits. That desperately needs to change. When I lived in Las Vegas, one of the issues with the Clark County School District is they would spend tens of millions of dollars every year on these exorbitant schools and buildings and landscaping, and they would fire teachers because they didn't have any money. I actually did a story once where they fired a teacher in a school district in Washington State because they didn't have any money for the teachers, and then they put a $30,000 espresso machine in the teacher's lounge. Wow. So there's a huge mismanagement problem. Everybody loves good teachers, but it's also time to reevaluate the class size issue and the student-teacher ratio, considering the scientific research has really moved away from the smaller class size. We need to focus more on disciplining students that need to be disciplined and supporting teachers, so that way good students are able to have a good teacher in that classroom.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, if teachers are already burnt out and then we're focusing on more discipline, is that the answer? I mean, I don't know that teachers that are already burnt out and tired will now be able to discipline even more students potentially in their classroom.
Well, I don't want the teachers, I'm sorry, I didn't want the teachers to discipline the student. We had a story here where a teacher he physically hit a student, bounced his head off of a cinder block wall. But this is a problem child that the faculty of the school, the principals, would not remove this child from school. And he kept coming back into the classroom, and the teacher reached his breaking point. Teachers need support from superintendents and principals and faculty to get problem students removed from those environments so they can focus on teaching students who really want to learn.
Dr. Tracy.
Sure. I think that I agree with both panelists. I think that we also need to provide them with a safe environment in which to work. Teaching has become a high-risk profession given safety in schools and the possibility of active shooters. And so I think it's really important that we think about the totality of the circumstances that teachers are facing when we think about compensating them and keeping good teachers in their classrooms.
Erin, what do you think?
Well, I agree with the most part with everything that's being said. The use of resources, especially monetary resources, needs to move more toward the educator. My mother-in-law was a teacher and she retired early because it was exhausting and her students had become so unmanageable and she was not getting the support she needed from the school system in order to be the educator that these students needed to be able to get ahead. And we're looking at an entire generation of students who are ill-prepared for college, ill-prepared for the future because of the COVID-19 pandemic and shutdowns. So now more than ever, there needs to be a very frank conversation in this nation about what we are paying teachers, about how we are supporting the education system, and how we're going to make sure that the next generation of Americans is ready for the jobs of tomorrow. Because right now, there are stories left and right across this country about how college freshmen are walking in, high school meant absolutely nothing to them, and they're taking the basic test when they walk in to see where they are, and they are far behind their colleagues.
Yeah,
we
certainly
really,
no
this is a huge issue here in this country.
Here. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, panel, thank you for that. All right, well, up next, this is going to be a fun one. I know you guys are going to have lots of thoughts on this one. There's a new survey that shows young people have a laundry list of perks they'd like employers to offer. Definitely guarantee some of these are going to surprise you. Is the younger generation maybe expecting too much, or should employers make an adjustment and try to remain competitive? We'll talk about it on the roundtable. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.